Okay, so Assalamu alaikum everyone and good evening. Thank you for joining us in the webinar. And let me quickly give my introduction and my company's introduction, and then we will get started with the agenda of the webinar. So my name is Tooba Mirza, and I'm representing my company Ontime Training and Consultancy Services here. I'm the founder, owner, and lead trainer of Ontime Training and Consultancy Services. I'm based in Karachi, Pakistan, and on the professional ground, I have 16 years of working experience in the software industry of Pakistan. I am a computer engineer from the academic side, and I've also completed my master's degree in project management. I've worked for many corporates in those 16 years, and I have run multiple projects and programs for them, and have helped them in their project and program management, process optimizations, etc. Now I full-time own this company, and here I provide the training and consultancy and guidance to the individuals and the corporates. Regarding the on-time training and consultancy services, it's a professional training and consultancy services providing company, and we are actually the professional training and consultancy provider of portfolio program and project management domains. So we are mainly into PMI track, and we offer trainings for PfMP, PGMP, RMP, ACP, like all those PMI certifications, PMP, like PPA, all those certifications that PMI offer. And we are also helping corporates and organizations as well as individuals regarding their project program management career, and establishing PMOs, and helping them improving their project and program management practices. So if you think that you require any of these services, you may contact us. I'm going to share the communication channels in the chat box in a while. So let's get started with the webinar agenda. And here we are going to present and to discuss the PfMP journey and the success story of one of our PfMP mentees, Muhammad Irfan Ayub. So let me tell you that this year in 2022, On-Time Training and Consultancy Services has produced 7 PfMP, and Irfan is one of them. So Assalamu alaikum Irfan, how are you doing?
Walaikum salam. I'm good, fine, thank you.
Okay, Irfan, so
how's everybody?
Yeah, I think everybody is doing good as well. And Irfan, would you like to introduce yourself quickly so that we begin the agenda?
Okay, this is Irfan. I am in IT industry since 2006. I am basically a technical background from ERP implementation, application management, digital transformation. Have been working. Last I was working as a portfolio manager for a group of companies. So from there, I have basically thought that I have to get into the proper PMI shoes and have to get credentials properly. So later on, um, I have been I got introduction from Tooba. I actually on LinkedIn I searched about uh, some good mentor. So then I found Tooba, and then our journey start. I completed my PMP also in 2022, and my PFMP also.
Okay, so Irfan, why did you opt for your PFMP right after you are done with your PMP? Because you did your PMP, I think, in October, and not in October, in September actually, and then in November you went for your PFMP as well. So, like, how did this thought come to your mind that you should be going with the PFMP? Because PFMP is a big thing, right? And not
PFMP, right?
yeah, the PFMP. It's not something that everyone would opt for. So why did you go for it?
Yeah, actually, when I was in PMP, when I was taking the course from for the PMP, and I was preparing for PMP, at that time I thought that I should have I have to take the full track. For example, mm, the basic need, it started when I was running a portfolio for IT of a group of company. I felt at that time that I am facing some issues in some of the places. Some are the gray areas where I'm not able to properly deal that areas. For example, reporting to the higher management reporting, and the stakeholder, how to analyze properly the stakeholders, their influences, and the other relationing with the stakeholder. Then during the PMP, I thought about that I have to go for the portfolio management credentials, because it will be a proper place where I will learn actually for exactly what I need to handle or manage a portfolio for any organization. Regardless of because I am from the IT, but it will be a general knowledge for through from PMI. So that's why that was my my aspiration to go after that.
Okay.
That's
And when you started your PFMP journey in September, I think in late September, you just went for the training with me, and then you appeared in the exam in somewhere in mid to late November. So you did that like in exact 2 months. And usually that's
yeah.
like very usual question that comes to us is like, would we be able to do that in maybe in a week, in a month's time, or in 2 months' time. So I would like to inform the general audience that yes, this is a possibility. In fact, there are other students who have done their certifications in less than 2 months' time as well. So it's only about the focus and dedication. And we would like to hear that from Irfan as well, because he is one of those examples who did their PFMP in like a record time. So, Irfan, how was the experience for you? The training
Uh,
experience and everything.
we actually, I don't think that it will be a record time or something. It was not some sort of a race, uh, but I would say that I worked hard in studying while PFMP, but especially I get a boost from when I passed my PMP. I
Mhm.
had a great knowledge knowledge base in my mind, and I've already in PMI had. So I
Mhm.
was thinking the PMI way already.
Mhm.
So when you gave me when you start mentoring me and gave me the material, I thought that I have to go through. I was on the track already, in the studying track. I have already I set my chemistry for work and study. Uh, I had a routine to
Mhm.
to to study in that time, and honestly speaking, I was giving more time for my to read about different blogs, different concepts. In PFMP, I didn't. Uh, I don't think so. There are some concepts which are beyond the concept which were new to me. I have
Mhm.
been in these concepts previously also, but
Mhm.
the gray areas were there which I was not clear about, that one, that how to deal, for example, in the governance areas or organizational strategy and objectives. So I read through the material and also from the internet. Uh, and this my habit through PMP also. I was doing this.
Mhm.
I was reading some sort of blogs also. And honestly speaking, your material helped, Tuba, your material helped me a lot. Seriously, it was you put everything in a nutshell. So if I haven't that material, it will take a lot of time for me to crack this exam to pass. But that I'll give a credit to this material specifically, that I could do it in a very short time.
So, Irfan, you think that like that momentum that you could establish after you did your PMP, and that really helped you like to go for PfMP like in this short period, and you would recommend the same to the others as well, that if they have started their journey with PMI, they should continue that. Like there should not be a stop after.
See, Tuba,
Yeah.
let me think loud here. Actually, we have started our PMP journey in end of 2021, right?
Right.
In January, from January, in February, we have formally started our PMP.
Yes.
From my PMP mentoring, my study, and from the PFMP, everything in all these different stages, one thing was common, and it was you. So you guided me from the beginning also, right? That
Yes.
thing, you established that routine, you established something that you have to do this, you have to do this from the PMP. That
Mhm.
in that that actually made me a routine also. How should I study?
Mhm.
And the concepts which I don't think there are some concepts which are very complicated, or some. There is no rocket science. We in my technical background, I'm in
Mhm.
IT technicals. We have a lot of different complicated concepts in that compared
Mhm.
to the PMI. Only PMI think that we should have a PMI hat.
Mhm.
Our thought process should be PMI way.
Mhm. Mhm.
That you have actually from your material, and also from your guidance. And I remember a lot, many times, numerous times. I think we cannot even count them.
Mhm.
Countless time we have discussed about many topics about, and we have different opinion altogether. Then
Mhm.
you try, and at the end of the day, I was not even convinced at that time, but later on I thought, I have to look into this and go this way. So that was the thing, that from the PMP onward to PFMP,
Mhm.
I was on the same track, but material was different, and I went through with the same pace in that material.
Mhm.
Went through that material, and that's it. Got it.
So what is next for you? And that's like one usual question that people usually ask us, that, okay, I'm done with this. I'm done with PMP. I'm done with SCP. What I should be going next with? So the answer depends on their profiles, their expertise, their skill set, and their motivation level as well. So what's next for you after PMP and your PFMP? What's
Actually,
next?
I have to complete my three P's. I'll go for
Mhm.
the PGMP. Uh, as Obviously, this after the PGMP, I should have completed in within couple of months now. Actually, I'm relocated. I'm not in Pakistan anymore. I have resumed my journey for my professional journey in Saudi Arabia. So I left Pakistan. So in here, I think I need a couple of months. After that, I hopefully I'll be back on track, and I'll go after PGMP.
Mhm.
If you will continue your guidance.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So you think that although you are already in the portfolio management role, but you think that PGMP is something that you still would want to go
Of
for.
course, see if when I did my PMP, and if I have my PFMP credential, I properly distinctive. There are pure distinction, right? And in the contents also, although there are tools and techniques, a lot of tools and techniques which are common, but it's not that these both tools and techniques we can use. The PMP is a different ball game, and
Mhm.
PFMP is a different. PFMP, if a person who is only PMP, and he's working in the portfolio, he's running a portfolio, I don't think so he should do it without having the portfolio credentials. These credentials are very important. I am very late in this, but I should have been I should in this earlier. Previously, I was in pure technicals, and I was in cloud computing also. I've been working as an architect or something. I was after my technical credentials, but later on when I moved to a senior level, I I thought that I should on the first mm, I should have. in the beginning when I was moved in my senior places after a decade of in working in a professional work, I should have this the PMI all credentials. Because and the one thing I'll tell you, I haven't spoke to you about that. From the beginning, in throughout my career, I was the person who always discussed, talked about the best practices. The people, even when I was a .NET developer a long time ago, I used to talk about the standards. I used to talk about the best practices. So, you there, Tuba?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So, uh, so that was my. I can say that my chemistry was synced, was matched. I was synced with the PMI thought process, um, little better, and rest everything I did.
So you just strongly believe that if you are with an organization, or probably if you are working anywhere, maybe in whatever capacity, you should always be applying the best practices, and at least be knowing them. Applying application is the later part, but knowing is the first part. Until and unless you don't know them, and you have a team who is working with you, and you have an organization who you are associated with, it's not going to work. Maybe the practices that you are observing from your seniors or from your peers, they are not the suitable ones for you, and you are just following them because of the reason that this is something that you know. And these credentials actually help us with this knowledge, gaining the right knowledge, and applying that as and when required. Maybe there are cases when you don't think that application of these standards would work for you in your practical scenarios, but there are times, most of the times, it works for most of the organization and for most of the industries. So yeah, I also work with the same thought process, that standardization and the global best practice is something that everyone should know, based on their industry and based on their based on the region and based on the markets they are in. And the best part of PMI certification is that they do not restrict or constrain the best practices for any specific industry. They are generally applicable for all industries, and you can take the section or the portion of it based on your needs and specifications. So Irfan, let's come to the exam part. So when you attempted your PfMP exam, how was the experience overall for you? Because usually there are few participants who are actively preparing for their PfMP. They may sit for their exam in next few weeks or so. So they probably would like to know your experience as well. We are not quoting any specific questions or anything here. It's just like the overall experience and what tips you would want to give to them so that they can easily crack their exam.
Okay, okay, specifically in terms of, I'll share my experience. My exam was a little tough, which I would say. I thought since beginning I was telling you, Tuba, that I wish I would have more time, right? But it doesn't matter that if I would have more time, or I have covered a lot of most of the topics properly, and I appeared in the exam. And I appeared in that exam that I could not go through also. So I was prepared for that one. It didn't matter at that time for me. But I thought that exam I should take exam. I have to prepare whatever I have in a manner that whatever I will attempt, I can see it go through. Let me rephrase it myself. uh, I completed it in within 2 months, right? So I was initially thinking that I should I planned it for 3 to 4 months minimum to before I appear in the exam. Exam was not mm, very difficult, and it was not very easy. It is a typical PMI based exam, so like it used to be. So definitely, uh, but. Uh, let me tell you the tools and techniques which I was weak in. I know that I know the tools and techniques, inputs and outputs. I cannot mm, you know, I know how to use it, but I cannot cram it some that like this input have 5 outputs, this output have some common sense development. Some common sense was developed for
So
my
was that
preparation.
ITTO knowledge exactly required, like the way PMI quotes that in the standard? So
ITTO knowledge is required, but everybody have its own way how to utilize that.
Mhm.
So I had my own way how to the ITTOs will participate in the exam. But when I was expecting that if it is straightforward questions that ITTOs that what input has what output, then I'll not be able to crack this
Mhm.
exam. People they have total scenario question, real time, like
And that is
they are
how the
literally
PMI
putting
exams are, like, they
exactly.
want the
So
application of those ITTOs in
so
the, yeah.
if I'm sorry to interrupt that if this real time exams, this is the best way to test any candidate, and I believe they tested me also by this way. They tested the real by this way. They actually really testing the knowledge. So from the senior, Chirantan, I asked also about that one, that do we have a specifically ITTO questions, and also it was not his answer was not that it will be a real time. His answer was to that there will be real time questions, not like ITTOs. It was very helpful for me. So the exam was a little difficult compared to PMP as
So
I
what are the
expected. I was
usual, like commonly you like appear topics or the important topics that you would like to highlight over here for those
actually,
participants?
most of the part, it was surrounding all of their as percentage, but I think the governance part, it was covering a lot. They were more in every area. They were governance and also some communication also. So in there are some questions that they falls in a gray area that you cannot mm, sometimes you cannot understand it from which area they belong. So there were some things like that, but
So at times they
it was
also
not
tested
difficult.
this way that some of the questions are touching the communication as well as the governance as well as the risk, like together, and you actually need to pick
Yes,
the right answer. So
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
that way that they categorize the domains in, like, for instance, governance would be covering 20% and strategic would be covering 25%, but at times the scenarios are covering more than one domain, and based
exactly.
on your right connectivity of the concepts you need to answer that, and this is what PMI tests. So we can
And
only
also,
yeah,
and also there is a time management is very important also in this. You
yeah.
know, uh, some candidates I have heard my seniors also some aspirants who passed prior to me, they were very excellent in time management. I'm very poor in time management, even in PMP also in here also. But
Mhm.
I think they have to take care, especially for the time management when there are questions compared to PMP. The question in PFMP are lengthy and they are
Mhm.
very complex. The question are a little complex. So there are some questions. There was some question I have to read twice, more than twice. I have to read them. So it took me a lot of time.
Mhm.
Uh, so that's it. It's not a somebody has to. I will advise someone. If
Mhm.
I will advise my colleagues, I think in my colleagues only Alia and Tamam also remaining. They they have to they should cover through your material. They have to cover everything. If there are some things that they don't understand, they have to specifically they have to discuss it with anyone who already with you especially, and they have to manage their time, and that's they have to
Did
appear
you
in the
read the
exam.
standard as well, besides my
Yes.
material? Yeah, you did. Okay.
Initially, I did it. Did it, but the way you You told me that how I do. When you read a book, I hate reading books since some time. I read the questions. When the question refers to something, then I have to read the standard. The way this way I have covered a lot of topics. Nearly everything I have covered in the standard. So this is the best way to read this boring book, and that's
Mhm.
it. And we can
Okay.
go.
And for those who are wondering that what actually covers in the exam, so exam actually covers 170 questions, and those questions actually like there are multiple choice questions, so there's going to be a scenario in the question and there are going to be 4 choices and you need to pick the right choice. So it may sound like very easy to some or those who are new to PMI, but it's actually not that easy. It's actually not about the easy or difficult. The PMI exams are usually very tricky, so you need to experience that, and when you experience that, then you get to know that like what PMI expects in the exam. And regarding the PfMP, those who are new to PMI world and those who would like to know what is covered in the curriculum, let me clear the concept of the portfolio in a light of PMI. So portfolio is a group of multiple projects, programs, and operations that are running in an organization, and that contributes to some of the corporate goals or the strategic objectives of that organization. So portfolio management actually helps the organization in fulfilling those goals by implementing those projects and programs within the project and program management capacity. So at times people confuse the portfolio management with the project and program management, which is not the true perception, because project and program management is more at the tactical and at the executional part, and portfolio management is more at the strategic and the the decision making part. And portfolio management actually is about selecting and picking the right work that you should be doing in that portfolio, so that those objectives and metrics that you have set for your organization is fulfilled via those functional units and portfolios. So portfolio PMI specifically says that portfolio management is about doing the right work, and project and program management is about doing the work right, the selected work that you have done in the portfolio management. Doing that in the right manner is the project and program management, right?
So the portfolio is basically a preemptive and preventive approach for doing in the portfolio.
Yes.
Otherwise, in the program and the projects, it's a corrective approach. If we take this, the work right.
Yeah, and PfMP, like the curriculum of portfolio management professional certification by PMI, is constituted of 5 domains: the strategic management, the portfolio governance management, the portfolio performance management, the portfolio communication management, and the portfolio risk management. And PMI says that being a portfolio manager, if you are working in a portfolio manager role, whatever you are doing would be lying somewhere in these 5 domains. It should be lying there. And if you think that you are doing project management and you have a role of portfolio manager, then probably you are not on the right track. So either you correct your perception, because I know many people who are doing the tactical and the executional work in the name of portfolio management, which is the wrong perception. All right. So moving forward with our agenda. So Irfan, one thing which is like a very usual pain point for most of the candidates in the world of PMI, specifically for PGMP and PfMP, is the application approval process, where the PMI checks the your eligibility for that exam. So how has that been for you, that process of application approval?
Actually, application I have, as I mentioned earlier, I worked in the portfolio. I manage a portfolio for a group of company some couple of years ago, and I've been doing well actually in that. I have utilized my same experience to formalize my application, and you remember that you helped me a lot. You actually helped me to rectify, to properly structure my application for that for the panel review. So I think that that's also, this credit goes to you. Tooba, you remember, right? You have done my
Like how long
application.
it took for you, the overall submission
So
till
my total 20 days, it was a total including from submission to the panel review, completion and approval. It took me 20 days to complete. And
So 3 weeks, total 3 weeks it took for you from the
yes,
submission and for the two approvals, which is a
exactly.
pretty justified time. And usually,
Average time, yes.
yeah, it's a pretty average time, and it's actually a good time because usually it takes more than 40 to 50 days for a usual person. So we do provide application support, like complete end-to-end application support in this program that we offer. And we do guarantee the panel approval as well in the first attempt. And we have many students, some are present in the audience as well, who have that same experience with us. So application is not something that we worry about because we have quite expertise in this area. And regarding the material and the overall training and the mentoring that we have provided to you. So Irfan, did you refer anything that like anything else that we provided to you in the training program for your preparation?
Sorry, I did not get you. I should
So
refer it to what?
So I did provide you like the question answer banks and the training material and
Yes. Okay.
overall content.
The material. Let me explain the material. Which your material helped me in which area? Your material typically, which were your slides and the material topic knowledge area, knowledge base, which you provided me, that helped me a lot in to learn the basic concepts. It was in a nutshell rather than reading through the whole book initially. And, although I read the all book multiple times later on by in bits and pieces, but the second thing which was very helpful was the exam banks. With uh, this exam banks actually, it was not to gauge me also or to make any. I cannot. I will not say that it was me how it to assess me that how much I am ready. It was actually to learning how much the concepts I have learned already, and from this I have learned more concepts in that. So I went through all the exam banks also, especially your exam banks on time training exam. There were two on time training
There
exam.
were 200 questions that we have provided you.
200,
Like, yeah.
100 in one set, and there were two sets for on
So
time.
which one helped
They
you
were
like more in the real exam? Because we did provide the PGM certificate as well.
the set number two. It was really there was. I told you that there were two or three questions exactly from that one, but it doesn't. It's a coincidence. So, but the my concepts were were very good after when I completed these exams. The banks, also the Lithi and the PG, the third one also. They helped me a lot to learn the concepts which were beyond my the slides or the knowledge base you have. Because one thing I will suggest to all the aspirants also, they must read the book, because there are some concepts which are annexed with the book in the book, which you cannot see in the slide, or you will see in the slide in a one liner. But in this one liner, normally we overlook and we forget it and we don't care about that. What does it mean? But actually, if you go in the book, there is a whole page about that. So it will give you the whole the underlying concept, all that. So that's what I think that it
Yeah,
is a
and I
must.
would like to clarify one more thing for those who are actively preparing and who know what we are talking about. So those who are actively preparing and their exam is probably already booked or they are planning to do that. At times we come across this question as well, that is your question bank going to be like very helpful in the exam, or are we going to get similar questions in the exam? See, the question answer banks, like whoever provided, that the provider doesn't really matter. The purpose of the mocks or the question answer banks is to help you get into that mindset that PMI expects in the exam. It's not about giving you the exact questions, like that's going to kill the purpose, right? Because this is not the not what the exam expects. If you are going to like know the exact questions, what's going to be the purpose of sitting in the exam in the first place? So it's about practicing. It's about connecting the concepts in the right manner. It's about gaining the right knowledge about the PMI standardization. And it's about like getting ready for the exam. It's not about knowing the exact content of the exam, which is against the PMI Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct as well, right? So we do not claim that our questions or those we suggest, they're going to appear as it is in the exam. This is like not we offer. Nobody should be offering that. We offer the right knowledge, and with the application of that knowledge, you will be able to answer any question in the exam. This is what we claim, right? And this is what our students are going to tell you as well. That if you have the right context and right application of those concepts that PMI has provided in the standard and in the ECO, exam content outline, then you will be able to answer any question in the exam. And just do some practice for the time management, for the pressure handling. It's about that as well, right? So
that's right. What I think the exam banks which were in the part of the material, I take them as also a knowledge base, because I don't, when I read a question, and even if I attempted it, it's a wrong. On the right, there will be a one right answer. I have to understand why it was wrong and why I should have a right one this one. So it will actually clear one of my concepts. This is what actually the PMI. You have to clear your concepts. This is what I have been doing.
Yeah, why the right answer is right and why the wrong answers are wrong. This is what the mocks help you with.
So the concept which actually leave a concept behind in your mind, and that will actually guide you the proper PMI path. But initially when I was doing in the PMP, to clear some my concept, progressive elaboration and rolling wave planning, I used to get confused in both in these. So I remember a blog by then I go through it and get me concept cleared, and it's clear as of now, and it will be forever until I'm with this. So what I will advise, reading everything, building your concepts, and this is what is material for. All aspirants have to focus there.
Yes, and if the participants has any question for Irfan, you can place that in the comment box, and we will take that in the last 10 to 15 minutes of the session. So Irfan, moving forward with the agenda of the session, that's a very usual question when especially when the aspirants come to us asking about the PfMP and how that's going to help them in their professional career. They right away ask for the return, right? The return on investment, right? Because this is going to be like every PMI certification is a huge investment, not in terms of money only, in terms of your commitment and energy and time, and you need to like prioritize, and you need to just push back few other things that probably would have been the priority. So how do you see the return or the payback after doing these certifications? What is the payback in your opinion? How do
my
you?
personal
Yeah.
if I give you my personal honest opinion, the PMI certifications were my personal development. It's a path of my personal. It's a program of my personal development. What you will say, whatever will fall under it, it is a personal development program. So I don't think it will as an investment. Whatever investment I did, it is under under personal development. So if you want to see a return, most of the return already got it when I get the credentials. Whatever the left, whatever the investment the return of investment is left, I haven't get. That will be this investment will return when I will apply this knowledge, my PMI way. In my professional career, I have seen the technical people cutting corners, which actually jeopardize the whole project, and it will tripling the cost of the project. I have seen technical people. See, if the technical people, which I am talking about my industry, technical people start cutting corners, there is no way that you have to rectify things, and it will take a lot of cost, effort, and some time. You cannot even reverse that. So when they do PMI way things PMI way, that will never happen. That they will uh, they will cut corners. They will put things under carpets or some. It will be a proper way. Everything through best practices, and the things will not jeopardize. This will be the return of investment. They will have their own better prestige, their own better reputation for themselves, for me, and that will be more than return on investment. That's what I'll
So when you
say.
have that skill set and the credentials with you, when you start talking to the senior management and even to your team and to your customers and suppliers, they actually start giving weightage to your argument and to your point. And that has
Obviously,
happened
they
to
will.
me,
They will.
yes, as well.
They'll give me weightage not only because that I have these credentials. Definitely they will understand this, that this person have the credentials, he definitely have some sort of knowledge, but also myself, my thought process will be clear now I am doing the right, I am talking correctly, so that's why they'll
That's a
give us start giving me better.
satisfaction as well, that we know our thing. It's not that by chance or by luck we have got this role. It's because that we deserve it. We now had the right knowledge, the skill set, as well as the experience. So that complements
Exactly.
each other. Yes, I
Exactly.
agree with this. I agree with this totally. Yeah. So those who think that the return only comes with the monetary or the cash flow for, my answer to them would be that get your profile in the right manner, in the right order, have these uh, credentials and certifications in your profile with the right experience. Of course, experience complements that. I'm not saying that just get these certifications and don't apply that. Application is very, very important, and then you will get to see that by yourself that the monetary benefit will follow. The monetary benefit will not go anywhere. It will automatically follow. You just keep it right. Like the thought process should be very right from the very beginning. So it doesn't happen like overnight that you get your credential and from the very next day you will start seeing the monetary benefit. It doesn't happen that way. For you, maybe it can come in few months, in few years, or maybe in just few days. That depends like on the circumstances and the situations, but it will come, it will follow you, because this is how it goes for everyone. We have many examples and many like real life examples where we have seen people getting benefited with these credentials in the right manner. So just don't see that in the ROI manner, see that in the form of right payback, right application, right utilization as well. Okay, so in the interest of time, Irfan, the very last question for you, and if there are any questions after that, we will take that in the end. So what is the final advice or the final suggestion you would like to give to the PfMP aspirants as well as the portfolio managers?
Right. I think in my advice, if I suggest something, the people who are already running a portfolio of any with any business, they have to first they have to properly go through this credentials, and they have to take, certainly this, definitely they should have these credentials uh, in order to in order to do things right. Otherwise, I don't know, later on maybe they are doing some things which are not as per the standard best practices, and they are suffering, and their organizations are suffering, and their businesses are suffering because of that, which have been happening with me. I used to do a lot of things, the easy things very complicated ways, which I could have done very easily. And second, the aspirants who are immediately in the near future, they are taking exam, I advise them to go through the material whatever they have, especially if they have, as they are mentees of Tooba. Uh, go through the material which already they have, build their concepts, and wear the PMI hat and just take the exam. They'll pass. It's not an issue. They'll, but they have to apply their knowledge definitely when they'll go back to their professional life. The certification means that it doesn't matter a rank, like in a military, you have a rank and you do nothing with that rank. When you have a rank, you have to apply that rank. You have to wear PMI hat rest of your professional life, and that's how you will return back the favor to this society.
Yeah, the paying back is very, very important. Very, very
Exactly.
important.
Because what I have the very I was impressed from the PMI, code of ethics. When I read that code of ethics, I was really impressed. I thought that this is the way that every business should run. Everybody should work the way, and they are binding us in the PMI code of ethics. So they are general best practices, regardless of in any business, regardless of any industry, regardless of anything. Even if you see different segment of society, you should always be true. You have servant leadership. So these are this belongs to every part of society, every part of segment, every segment of society, every business, and that's what I believe that, and that will be my advice.
Okay, thank you very much, Irfan, for sharing your success journey and thoughts to the PfMP aspirants. Okay, so I have a question. I think this is from Imran. So Imran is asking about how to prepare application for PfMP. Imran, this is actually a quite an extensive process, and usually the expectation that PMI has set from the candidates is that you need to know that what is the ECO and what is the right application of those knowledge set that PMI is given in their standard. And it's not about copy pasting that. So if you copy paste any of the segments of portfolio standard in the application, they will just return your application. So you need to be writing that experience and knowledge of your in a manner that it looks like it belongs to you. So if you need help with that, we actually do that for our mentees and for other members as well who do not opt for the whole program, but they only opt for the application services from us. So if you think that you would need support, we do offer the templates as well for helping, and we do offer the complete end-to-end support as well for writing your PfMP application. So whatever you think is going to be the right option for you, you can go for that. But this is actually, and usually what goes in the application is like 6 sections. One is the summary, where you briefly explain your portfolio and how it links to the organizational objectives. And then the 5 sections, strategic, governance, performance, risk, and communication. And they are usually for PfMP as well as for PGMP, they give you 2 options for each section of strategy, governance, communication, risk, and performance. You need to pick any of them, and you need to write the portfolio that you have chosen in the summary for those sections. So this is how it goes. And every section has 500 word limit as well. So this is, in my opinion, while I write any application, that is the trickiest part, because when you write portfolio experiences for any candidate, you usually have a lot to write. And to cut it short into 500 words is a very, very tricky thing. And while being effective and, like acceptable by the PMI. So you need to keep in consideration of that as well while you are writing it on your own, right? And supporting your application with the metrics and the numbers and the examples is something that PMI expects in the application, if that helps, right? And of course, I probably will not be able to answer each and everything that goes in the application in this session. So probably you can connect with me separately if you need support. And Nikosi is appreciating us for organizing these sessions. Yes, Nikosi, we are recording the session. So if you think that you would like to hear that, you can hear the recording. So if we have any further questions from anyone, we can answer that because we have 5 minutes left. And if no, then probably we are good to wrap up this session. Do we have any other questions by anyone? Okay, perfect. So our next PfMP mentoring program is starting from 31st December. And if you think that you are interested in exploring this program with us, you may connect with us. I have shared the channels with you in the comment box. Reach out and yeah.
I don't think that I am that much a very good communicator that I'm very much explained. Then nobody had asked any question.
No, of course, probably you have explained it well, and probably they didn't have questions remaining after that, and that's totally fine. No problem with that. So if you have interest in our next program, you may connect with us in any of through any of these channels. And take care, everybody. I will come back again with the next webinar very soon. All right, with another candidate. Thank you, Irfan, for joining us, and thank you, everyone, for.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Tooba. Thank you, Irfan. Thanks for the session.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Take care.
Thank you.